go down here.
Ring that bell, ding, ding, ding. Let the match begin. All season long, watching on Ozzy's stream, 30-something, all for this fight here. Cold gets the gun. He's able to chase 𝐒𝐿 around, who has absolutely nothing. 𝐒𝐿 gets one for himself, but he's gonna fall. PeterBot and Ritual are the last two alive in a situation that they can revive Cold, leaving 𝐒𝐿 all by himself.
Just like that, the tables change with a pickaxe and a swing. The support system comes through for PeterBot, Ritual, Cold, and 𝐒𝐿. You can run, but buddy, I don't think you're going to be able to hide for much longer. They're making sure they have no odds at losing this one, and 𝐒𝐿 is just hiding out here down in the low ground. I think something's going to happen here that's going to give away his position here, but it looks like the real kings of the Demon's Domain will be PeterBot, Cold, and Ritual.
Oh my gosh, and already you see that lead be diminished in this one game. PeterBot takes matters into his own hands, is able to drop the first, get the elimination onto 𝐒𝐿, who was the difference maker with the weapons, save Cold, and take down 𝐒𝐿. This is exactly what we wanted coming into Major 3, and I hope everybody is happy because we got that treat.
I absolutely hate that I was grinning just ear to ear watching this all go down because 𝐒𝐿's, 𝐒𝐿, and Boyer were so deserving, but at the same time, it just makes you wonder, what can you do to stop Ritual, Cold, and PeterBot? It's like when they want something done, you have never seen a team in Fortnite's history just go out and take it, right? And they're doing it here. And like you said, the point gap now starts to shrink. For Rapid, 𝐾𝐷𝐷, and Bolts, they have a chance to race to the finish line. They really genuinely do. Ritual, Cold, and PeterBot, that might be the momentum and honestly the mood shift that they've been looking for, because the last couple games, Jacob, we have had a somewhat out of the ordinary performance from them, right? You know, 14th, 15th, that's not usual.
Looking right now at the points, a 30-point deficit to second place right now. And with those eliminations, they already dropped it down to, I think, 18 points behind 𝐾𝐷𝐷, Rapid, and Bolts. But you know, I know, everybody at home knows who's had their eyes peeled off Fortnite competitive. He's not fighting for second place, so he has to do one of two things. Drop an historic elimination game to not only take the spot over 𝐒𝐿, 𝐒𝐿, and Poyo, but pass Rapid, 𝐾𝐷𝐷, and Bolts if they don't go down, or they're going to have to go on another hunt. They're going to have to figure out where Rapid, 𝐾𝐷𝐷, and Bolts are at, take them down, and finish off this game with a win over the game.
Yeah, none of those are easy asks, right? You got to go across this entire map. You have to be deadly accurate now. And, you know, again, yesterday we talked a lot about this. There's contingency plans for teams like 𝐒𝐿 and company, all right? They've been planning this the entire year, but not necessarily a contingency plan for, well, what happens when 𝐾𝐷𝐷's up there? What happens when 𝐺moneyRise and 𝐒𝐿 are running things, right? Like, these are just, you know, unforeseen circumstances. And, you know, this last game really is going to be up for surprise. But we know for certain that 𝐾𝐷𝐷, Bolts, and Rapid surely have downloaded what just happened. It's also a process here and now. And we're going to get to see if they can actually perform under pressure when it matters most. I know Bolts has been here before, 𝐾𝐷𝐷 and Rapid as well. However, it's been a while, right? It's been a while since you had this opportunity unfold here.
I just want to take this moment to say congratulations, though, before this one ends, for 𝐾𝐷𝐷 reaching its 28th consecutive FNCS finals. His point lead is so far ahead. You know, he has that one locked in, which kind of leaves only one more spot up for grabs. And you're looking at other teams when you light down that leaderboard. 𝐒𝐿, 𝐺moneyRise, Muzz, Shadow, Sphinx, 𝐒𝐷𝐷, Threats, and �Craze would be those top 3 teams to look at. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The lurk, the sneak, Magma's gonna be first. Box, already Bolts is there, trying to chase down. That could be another elimination if they get this other. This is 12 more points. They're going for the win here.
I like this. This is exactly what they need, because if you don't, you know what's gonna happen. Everyone that's right behind you are gonna start running their way on up. 𝐾𝐷𝐷, Bolts, Rapid, playing as sharp as ever. Front side, 𝐾𝐷𝐷 kind of leading the charge here, really showing us just how mechanical he is. Don't forget what he's capable of. Yeah, he might have put that IGL hat on for quite some time, but there's a reason he made it to the top. It was off of his mechanical skills here. Where's the backup, though? They got to end this one quickly so they can get a move on. Because this is deviating away from their usual strategy, sitting up in big bases, right? Going for exchanges. This is definitely a stake, earning points, trying to play fast. And we all know when you start switching stuff up, Jacob, bad things can happen.
Just a tough angle right there. Exactly that. There's too many risks going down right here in this fight. They do have the elevation advantage. They're trying to smush that team further and further down. You see 𝐭𝐻𝐿𝐻 take another approach, going on their layer, and he's trying to just funnel them into one direction from the ground up this time around. Sees the footsteps, no scares towards the left, 𝐒𝐧𝐣𝐊 as well. Positions are not going to be hid, but they spot out 𝐭𝐻𝐿𝐻. They land that first shot. Not going to be a game changer, but that one surely is. 𝐭𝐻𝐿𝐻 has just gone down. Bolts and Rapid need to figure out if they want to stay or go.
I'm seeing a little bit of the hesitation from Bolts. I didn't want to call it out too early, but he was only down 20 HP, and he's stopping the chug, almost leaving 𝐭𝐻𝐿𝐻 out by himself. I have questions about what I just watched go down. This fight should have started and ended so much sooner, but I think we are watching championship jitters on Rapid and Bolts. I'm not even kidding here.
That could quite well be a possibility because we have not seen this in 12 games so far. This is the first time they're just keying over from Crime City, knowing that, honestly, you can't just expect these players to have a bad game. The only reason why Agers, 𝐒𝐈𝐊𝐻 are even down is because of contested fight versus one of the other grade teams on the region. So they're trying to just keep as much control underneath their own hands as possible. Unfortunately, 𝐭𝐻𝐿𝐻 goes down. Bolts immediately uses that launch pad to disengage, but because he did that, Rapid stayed, and that full team is leaving. And so Rapid will have a chance to get the reboot card. This is not the last we've seen of this full trio.
Crazy to think they get to count their lucky stars, you know, to just kind of stay in the running right now. Because if it was any other team, they might have just finished the fight. They might have actually had just enough awareness to recognize, wait, there's still one player left. We actually have this. But neither here nor there. These are the cards we've been dealt. We get to see it continue to go down. Damage, we know for sure they're going to be way behind on that. So this is only looking better and better for PeterBot, 𝐿𝐻. And by the way, I guess we can solidify here. Well, I guess we can't say for certain yet if 𝐿𝐻 won't be the 5x, but so far so good for PeterBot, 𝐿𝐻.
And they're literally getting everything this game. They got Demon's Domain, they got the off-spawn eliminations, they got the Spire, Island spawning, or could Theory spawn right there, but I think it is gonna go towards the north, so not just yet. Not everything quite yet, but you know what they want, they usually get. Taking control over this lobby right now, floating around Foxy Floodgates. There is different amount of rotation here that's naturally in the form of a launch pad. Just trying to wait and see where this next zone goes. I do believe it is going to continue to pull towards the north side of the map. The rise of 𝐒𝐷 and G-Money. They are currently in second place when it comes to that global championship spot, and they're not trying to lose control of their own destiny. Great elimination onto 𝐿𝐻𝐈. That brings them from about a 17-point lead 21.
It's a big deal. Muzz's team is close, but the more G-Money's team starts to break away, the better. Oh, they don't even get the full team healing. Look, they only get 4 off of this, so I was under the impression they might have actually gotten a full finish, but this might be the same kind of song and dance we just watched play out with Bolts and Rapid's team, where, you know, you get in those positions where the finish line is right there, and you're like, wait, maybe not. Maybe let's not take this fight. You do something a little different. You play a little more passive. We'll see if they end up winning it later. Not going to finish that fight. Not only for the damage they'll probably need here in the last game, but the points. Those points are going to matter.
Yeah, well said. And you're kind of seeing it affecting their game plan right here. Just traveling towards the whole eastern side of the map. The slow rotation where they're hoping they're having to run into too many teams. Hoping that the surge they were able to accumulate is going to be enough. But as PeterBot, 𝐿𝐻 go and contest the Demon's Domain. That leaves Brutal Boxcars free as can be. Spire lands over there, and when teams in the feed see the eliminations, they know who goes down, what's going on, they try to make that a part of their game plan, and that's like 𝐿𝐻𝐈𝐿𝐻 and Higgs back to what they practiced when those teams were actually contesting each other, fighting for the Brutal Boxcars, getting the Spire, getting a huge upgrade in their loot, and those superhero rank upgrades on top of that.
Those ranks definitely make a difference. We've seen them kind of change the dynamic time and time again, but here it is. So Bolts, Rapid, 𝐭𝐻𝐿𝐻, again, a little bit of a rocky start, you know. but seems like they've recuperated themselves. They've kind of got themselves back in the game. I'm looking at the loadouts. Things seem to be pretty decent, pretty stable, but we know for certain all this time spent back here at the Crime City means they haven't spent time farming damage. And that's going to have implications here in the coming moments. It may not right now because it's the last game, so things are moving a little quickly, but it will end up coming around eventually.
Yeah, I feel like this tournament's been a game of inches for a lot of these top teams here, playing for the competition. They're also losing a lot of information and priority towards the front side of the zone because they're not seeing all these teams pick their spots because they're so far back behind the curve of what they hope to go up until this point. 𝐒𝐲𝐳 and Threats, another team on the heels of a global championship slots. And so far, they've made it a focus for them to rotate out of Utopia and go as quick to the north side as possible. So that way they can get their position and worry about Surge as a secondary as opposed to first like they normally do.
Yeah, I'm just continuously glancing at that standing, just trying to see who's where, how far do some teams have to go, how consistent have they been, is this a good day, is it a rough day for 𝐒𝐲𝐳 and Threats? They haven't really got to touch that end game, not in the way that we've kind of seen them do in day number 1 where they were breaking top 5 regularly and they did have a victory royale. So far though, Muzz, Sphinx, and Shadow trying to do the same. They just came off that second place. They got that first place win. Have they managed to break that mid-game curse they've been battling with so far?
If any game is going to be the game to kind of break it, is going to be this one, where they get a favored zone towards the north side of the map this time around. And battling through so many different trials and tribulations throughout this tournament. They're putting themselves in the best position, but so is this team here. Rise, G-Minion, and V. Very, very similar road. Contested one time, non-contested, contested, uncontested. The Mind Games teams are playing on them. But for them to be able to hold tough each and every one of these moments, putting themselves, honestly, in the right spot, inside of that bubble when it comes to the second and final spot for Globals as Bolts, 𝐿, Rapid once again find themselves in a tough spot at the edge of the zone. That's Golden, that's Mason, and that's Chimp as well, rotating right in front, and then a whole nother trio trying to beat him to the punch. And this is what we were talking about, Monster, when we're saying going down early. Even if you're able to get that healthy reboot, you lose a lot.
Yeah, it's 𝐿 team that's off in a distance there, trying to get the lead to the front side of the brutal boxcars right now. And you can see them just about to set up and base up on the outskirts. 𝐿, Bolts, and Rapid likely read this positioning well and say, yep, we're not going to go that way. They're going to have to break off into a different direction, give themselves a little room to work with. Here we get an update from PeterBot's team up top. They're not too far off. They could just end up clashing here with their immediate competition. And if we know anything, we know they probably have been doing their research.
Yeah, trying to figure out when and where 𝐿, Bolts, and Rapid are going to make their appearance outside of the zone. They see the first team. I don't think it's them. But for them,
they don't know.
No matter who is, that's a possible 4 points per elimination. That's a 12-point swing right there if they're able to take down the full trio. A whole nother team making their way in towards brutal boxcars, but you see the marks on the minimap. Bolts, 𝐿, and Rapid are not too far away from what is going on here. And if they hear the noise, you know as well as I do, they tend to get a little noisy, seeing what the third party is. How can they use that to their advantage?
You know, they're thinking about, okay, why is this team playing so passive? Could this be 𝐿's trio? Obviously, you know, these guys are trying to decipher every little read possible to see if they can just get a hint of who's who and where's what. Even those skin details will play a factor in them determining what team's what. So for now, they might have seen enough to recognize that's not the trio they're looking for. Bolts, 𝐿, Rapid now on the move here, though, back inside the building of the boxcar. Trying to get back situated here in this game. This is a desperate reform here as the map is pulling pretty further away. They will end up crossing paths with 𝐿's trio and PeterBot's trio here shortly. I do think that's their team off to the right. And there, they might have spotted them.
Yeah, I'm locked in on the colors in the mini-map. Orange for PeterBot's team, green for 𝐿. As soon as I see those colors make close contact with each other, I'm thinking it's on, it's game time. They might not know how close they actually are, but it's definitely going to be a scary situation. 𝐒𝐲, Threats, and 𝐒𝐲, though, lurking up onto 𝐒𝐲. May not know that's exactly them, but that is the team that they have to go through. One of two teams if they want to qualify for the Global Championship. And for 𝐒𝐲 and Threats, it's to remain perfect in terms of qualifying for these lands.
This is big. This is like their little global championship fight right here. We're watching it all go down. Oh no, 𝐒𝐲. Okay. Oof. Jumps off the cliff there. Could have got 3-2-1, but that doesn't mean 𝐼nx or Shadow safe. Oh, 𝐼nx finds himself a little bit out of position. Threats needs to stop moving or they're going to give away the spot. Crazy's going to end up opening here. There it is. They initiate, but they miss. 𝐼nx reacts super fast. Luckily, he had dashes on standby, and he backs off. Get the fight happening right here. Below the threshold for 𝐿𝐷𝐷 and Rapid, they haven't done enough. And that's all because of that kind of slow start they had, that initial knock onto them. They will be forced to take this fight right now.
Yeah, they changed things up so much. It's not exactly the change they were looking for. 100 damage below. One well-placed shot could change things up. But right in front of them, that's Golden. That's Mason in their trio on the other side. This is where it gets tricky because now the lobby is starting to gain notice. They're starting to focus their attention in this direction. 284 below. They're falling further and further. This is the recipe for PeterBot Cold and Ritual success, but it's not going to come without a fight. 𝐿𝐷𝐷 makes his way in. He gets the knock onto one, but he immediately goes down, and they're not even above the damage threshold. Another one's going to fall. Rapid is out. It's all up to both by himself, and it's PeterBot Cold and Ritual. They're the ones shooting on over, and they get eliminated. Now this is just a one-horse race.
Of course, it's PeterBot Cold and Ritual there to answer the call when it matters. And now all they have to do is ride their way to an endgame and earn 80 more points. Now, that is not easy, though. Let's make this very clear. This is a big game they're going to need to put up still if they want to be the champions. 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐷, 𝐴quinn, and 𝐵oYo do have an opportunity to still hold the line here.
They just need, mathematically, the quickest math, they just need one elimination and a win. One more elimination and a win. Obviously, they can close it with even more eliminations there, but it's PeterBot, it's Cold and Ritual. What they have been doing so far, I feel like not very many players can say they can do that exact same thing. And the ones that say they can are probably out of this lobby already. G-Money, Rise, and 𝐸𝑎𝑣, they're realizing what's going around the lobby. Timing is of the essence. Eliminations are being taken away, and they're almost 500 damage above the threshold. What is this last game?
Yeah, they have a long way to go. They need to finish this whole entire team, get the wipe here. And he's only got 21 builds, so this is much more than just a fight. PeterBot, Cold, and Ritual, though, pressure coming in as well for them. They have beast checked the 𝐼nx, 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷 and 𝐻𝐷𝐷's trio here on the side. And now PeterBot, Cold, and Ritual do have a track record. They have a historical record. They love to win the last game on these major type tournaments. So I'll keep them in the running here for now. But 𝐸𝑎𝑣, G-Money, and Rise do fall there on the picture-in-picture. And just like that, their spot's now up for grab for 𝐒𝐲, Shadow, and 𝐼nx to potentially overthrow. Or 𝐒𝐲, Threats, and 𝐒𝐲 to jump even higher.
My man Levin on EU is probably saying this right now. Cinema. This is cinema at its finest. 𝐸𝑎𝑣 and them 546 points. I don't know what they're currently at, but starting this game, 𝐒𝐲 was at 521. Starting this game, 𝐒𝐲 was at 489 points. This is truly coming down to the wire. A mere elimination, a placement point could play the difference in somebody's FNCS continuing and somebody having to sit at home and watch it all with us.
And this is crazy because it's an end game on the top of a mountain, right? So naturally, it's going to favor the teams that get there early. PeterBot's team just literally positioned up on top of one of those predetermined bases that was already up there. So they're actually setting themselves up for the victory condition. I think they're noticing all they need to do is get these points. Look, they marked out 𝐷𝐷𝐷's base. They could either go for the fight, try to secure the elims, or play it nice, slow, and steady, but give it a second. 𝐼nx, 𝐻𝐷𝐷𝐷, just keeping us entertained here and now on the edge of the mountain here, fighting their way through Curly's trio. They're going to find Cooper there. Just a little bit of an upset as they push off Reet and team.
Much better position than they're in some of the previous games. 500 plus damage above the threshold for them. Just trying to close out strong. They realized what happened this FNCS, but they would have their global championship spot secured. So for them, it's about finishing strong and go next. They got global championship in their lines of sight for now, but still a comeback is needed. PeterBot, Cold, and Ritual, 3 eliminations, 500 damage above, and you can kind of see it right there in the mini-map. I know there's a marker and a bunch of other players in the way, but they have hold zone as well.
This is it. Here comes the breakout. Here comes the pressure. They have the zone. The stars are lining up. And they say fortune favors the bold. They have been just that all day long, all weekend long, challenging their immediate competitors. Really trying to take fate into their own hands right now. The combination of a few things are starting to happen here. The zone's not going to be forgiving to anyone here. It's going to start pushing its way off the mountain, down towards the lake. And that's going to mean you need a lot of material. This is going to be a matter of, can you go the distance? Do you have the stamina? This is a marathon, not a race here in these types of endgames, but for Ritual, Cold, and PeterBot, they have options. It's not going to be easy, though.
Still 72 points down. Muzz is being spotted on the backside right now. His season is on the line. Is determined by him being able to make it out alive and pass PeterBot. Luckily for him, he slides into home plate. Safe for now, but there's more innings to go in this game as 500 damage. That might be enough for them as they spot out Visuals, Braids, and a minute toward the backside of the zone. They begin to make their focus, and this is where teams have to watch out for. He does have the exotic pistol, the shockwave effect, the first and last bullet in that clip. The way PeterBot uses it, shoots one, reload, so he constantly has that shockwave effect out.
All right, we're in that position now. This is it. Teams all points will be given to others that have managed to stay alive. Shadow, Muzz, and Sphinx. Global championship opportunity on the line right now. Visuals, Braids, and a Minute are one of their immediate competitors, but they've already made it, so this is just a matter of points for them right now. A Minute, Braids, Visuals, kind of on the edge of the zone here. It's going to push back over the mountain. This is really good for PeterBot and Ritual right now. That gives them a lot of time to go in and work with it. But there's so much congestion beneath them. Look, there's no real opportunity available to them yet for eliminations. Finally now, everyone kind of has to come out of those burrow shells. And they have a chance here to earn some points.
704 placement points continuing to move in. Visuals gets one on the vert. Blue goes down to Neto as well. We talk about the prize money, and that's exactly what some of these players down below. Every elimination, every placing could be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 more dollars in their pockets. But they just have to continue to survive that chaos that's down below. Meanwhile, they're up above, unchallenged. You talked about the different elevation change that's going on with this zone. Nobody's really going to get a chance to look up, but Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx, they claim another elimination. Only their second of the game, but slow and steady wins the race.
This is it. This is very good for them right now. That's going to keep them competitive here. Ritual's going to play to the front side now. PeterBot's starting to work his way down. They're starting to gas out of material. They need a refresher yesterday. This is starting to slow down for them. Now, notice PeterBot is reloading to force the shockwave damage shots off of these teams here to give them all that distance. Plenty of options here. Muzz start opening up the edits too.
PeterBot still dropping down. Muzz are trying to put fire down from above, but they get sidelined. They get sidelined. Down goes Sphinx. Muzz forced outside of the zone. No miss for him, so he's going to go down as well. Shadow, I don't know how much pressure you faced in your life, but it does one or two things. Pressure either bursts pipe or makes diamonds. Now is your chance to shine bright like one.
Wait a second, PeterBot just hit himself back into the storm on accident. They're running low on material. This is the first time in a long time we've seen them not earn any points this late into an endgame. They might not have enough. They need to win the game and get a single elim or get a lot of elims. And right now, we're not seeing elims add up. This verticality is working against them. King, PH, Jin, and Phaser take the high ground. 𝐒𝐲𝐳 is going up to give us a win for a finish as well.
PeterBot shockwaving them all off of high ground, said, nah, you can hold it for now. Keep my C-Mord because the king is coming back to take his throne. This team doesn't want to take part in just another FNCS monster. They want to take over this FNCS. Prove a point. Claim his 6th FNCS championship. Right now, they're well on their way up the mountain. It's claiming so many players down below, forcing them into the first order base where there might not necessarily be an exit. Shadow, he goes down. At least he made inside of the top 8, but where does he land on that leaderboard?
Listen, I'm seeing a lot of placement points and not a lot of elims up top. Cold, Ritual, PeterBot still haven't been gifted. And what do you think about this? A 3v3, 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐲𝐞𝐻, 𝐒𝐔𝐷 looking to get revenge here. They got taken out before. Can they stand through the power that Cold, Ritual, and PeterBot are laying down here? But no, they run away. Potentially to be, again, not found for elims here. Not by this team, at least.
I'm not going to say it's scared by any means, but I feel like this is the smartest, the most calculated we've seen them play. But now is the time to crash out of the builds. Visuals goes down, but 𝐒𝐔𝐷𝐷, 𝐶licks, they're the ones who got both of those. Finally, Ritual is able to get one, and the dust has settled. They got their 4 eliminations. Now they just need to win out. And when the only healthy teams left in this game, minus Cold, of course.
Got a minute in the mid ground. Clicks 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐲𝐞𝐻 going up for height, just kind of baiting here. But Cold is very, very weak. He's going to go ahead and initiate things down below. Minish, kind of that mid-game back here. That's a siphon being rewarded. Cold's going to fall. PeterBot's hit. He doesn't see the side shot come through, and 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐲𝐞𝐻 tags him once. 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐲's going to get the siphon too. The jump shot. He's invisible. PeterBot can't be seen, can't be tracked. Misses the siphon. 𝐒𝐷𝐷𝐲's still in the game, but Ritual stands and wins the game by a heal off in the end. And just like that, Jacob, they do it again.
Oh my God, PeterBot, Cold, and Ritual. And what they can agree is probably one of the hardest fought FNCSs of their career. I cannot believe what we have just witnessed. They realized where they were at in terms of the leaderboard. They realized who was in their path, and one by one, they took down first place. They took down second place. I know I called a point estimate, but now I'm even getting second guess it, Monster, because did they do it? Did they complete history? Even now, I'm starting to doubt myself.
I mean, when you end the tournament with a win like that, and the elims start to add up, it has to feel like it was enough. But only time will tell. Game 12, one thing's for certain, Ritual, Cold,